Hello and God bless, Lee Rice here. I'm sleeping outside the position where I wrote Why Are Doors Closed, which was just down to the other church. There's two churches here. So I'm going to try in the calmest possible way to share the La Verita Pericola truth that the adult society refused to understand and refused to accept. As I've sat in this city today, well now it's yesterday because now it's the next day. So this is what happened. On top of everything else that has already happened, I sat with my pregnant friend Tina today, most of the day. She went for a siesta, and the adult society, they just keep walking, and they just keep checking one single direction, down the ground. While I've sat next with Alex from Ukraine, Tony the maestro, guitarist of 52 years, Angelo, local writer, artist who has a drink problem, fair enough, etc., etc. Every single writer, artist, poet, musician I've met since I've been here in 1 year and 3 months. Uno Annie, Train Metzi. The results are exactly the same. They keep on doing exactly this. They see, hear, or feel any type of music or art whatsoever, and they choose to look at the ground instead. If they're not looking at the ground, they're checking their screens when obviously they're in the ground anyway. If they're not checking the ground or their screens, they like to do this and check the time while they're walking past. If they're not doing that, they specifically look in the opposite direction. When there's any type of music or art, whether it be a guitarist of 52 years, a writer of 25 years, or anything in reality with music or art whatsoever, they fiercely reject it. A couple of the people I've met here have told me, oh, they think you're crazy. Oh, you drink beer. Oh, you're crazy. They think you're crazy. They think you're crazy. While I'm saying, do, 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 do. Is this the real life thriller? I put a spell on you, sound of silence, watching the wheels. Imagine window change. The adult society reject the truth. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from me, or from anywhere at all. It can be any type of musician, poet, artist, or writer, or the greatest artist of all time. They ultimately reject it. Mi dispiace, scusa. I've had a few beers just to stay calm. So, of course, I'm also really sensitive. As a writer, I'm outside the church now as a writer of 82 songs on this street. And the results of today, I've seen a lot in this stone cold dead walking society of Agrigento. But what I saw today is the most shameful behavior I've ever seen. In 32 lands, 22 lands. And 12 years, 12 years. So this is what happened today. In the entire day today, while I sat next to my friend Tina, my very good friend Tina, who is pregnant with a child, in the entire 12 hours, the adult society moving through Agrigento gave a grand total from the early morning till the late night of €1. A friend of mine, David, gave 40 cents. And that's to a writer of 82 songs on this very street, from this position to the end of the street. Plus my friend who is pregnant with a child, in the entirety of 12 hours in 24 degrees temperature. So what would they stop for? And I thought about this for a long time. They ultimately wouldn't. And that's because they're selfish zombies. And that is the truth. Yes, I've had a few drinks and all of this, but still, it's still the truth. And I saw the truth 9 years ago. That's what they are. I could say that's what they become, but it's not what they become for like one day or two. They've been like this for thousands of days. They live inside the ground, Abitenti della Terra, Campo de Fury. I wrote that 2 years ago. Camminatori di Fantasmi, Ground Dwellers. I wrote that 2 years ago in Rome. And they just continue. They'll walk past a writer, a pregnant friend sitting next to me most of the day today. They'll walk past Tony the Maestro, local guitarist of 52 years, with ultimately no compassion or empathy whatsoever. They won't even offer cinque centesimi. They won't even offer 5 cents. Angelo, local writer, drink problem, fair enough. Alex from Ukraine, the same scenario. Lucas from Poland, harp player, the same scenario. I watched it very closely during the time that Lucas was here from Poland, harp player last year. I changed the key of 2 songs specifically because of him. I'll change the key into D, so that we can play together. To watch their sadness. This is exactly what they do in the point of contact with myself or any type of music or art whatsoever. This is what they do. Their eyes go specifically down to the ground. If they don't go down to the ground and they're in their screens already, they go down to the ground, just checking the ground. And that is nearly every single moving adult, not the children, no. Nearly every single moving adult in the point of contact with music or art, they look directly down to the ground and specifically avoid cinque centes, mean 5 cents or 5 seconds for any type of music or art whatsoever. I've watched it very closely for 12 years as a street artist and 14 years with volunteer work too. That's exactly what they do. Their eyes go directly down to the ground. Oh, maybe I should give 5 cents. No. Maybe I should give a piece of bread. No. Eyes directly to the terreno. And that's what they do. And they're still doing exactly that. And they've been doing exactly the same process for thousands of days. I've sat next and made friends to many homeless brothers and sisters in my journey. And they do exactly the same. There's a writer plus a homeless man plus a homeless sister. And they do exactly the same. Plus, they walk inside the church doors and back outside the church doors and past the statues and do that. But yet still, they cannot see, hear, or feel any type of music or art from 1 single meter away from their position while they're doing that. What kind of belief is that? I've let many people know here, my friends, I see some positive stuff too. I know many people in Agrigento, and in all honesty, which is why I am, the rest of them are just in a dead walk. They specifically look down at the ground, whether it's myself playing, whether I'm sharing the truth through my Bluetooth speaker, whether it's Tony the Maestro, a guitarist of 52 years, whether it's Tina, a pregnant lady, whether it's Alex from Ukraine, whether it's Angelo, whether it's Lucas, the harp player, it doesn't matter. They ultimately do not and choose not to see, hear, or feel any type of music or art whatsoever. This is the stuff I've documented for many years before Agrigento too, and that's how they live. They choose to live inside here instead. Not just here. It's not just that's not the only problem. That is the biggest problem. Number one, they live inside here. They walk through the city, and from this distance away, they ultimately choose not to see, hear, or feel any type of music or art, whether it's I'm sharing it, whether it's Tony the Maestro, whether it's Angelo, whether it's Lucas the harp player, whether it's Tina, my pregnant friend, etc., etc. And this is exactly how they've been from my own eyes for 9 years, Noviani. and they just continue. They don't have 5 cents. No, 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 no. They won't stop. They wouldn't stop if I paid them to. And Tony the Maestro feels exactly the same. So does Tina. So does every single writer, artist, poet, musician I met in the last 10 years. They're just stone cold zombies. They've lost their hearts, they've lost their ears, they've lost their eyes, they've lost all empathy and compassion and all care for music or art whatsoever. They can stand this close to music and art, updating themselves, checking menus, checking myself, checking myself, checking myself, checking myself, with ultimately zero awareness of any music or art that is taking place or any truth right next to their position. And that is what the adult society have become. Completely empty of emotion for Watto Assoluto. God bless.